Where do we even begin?
Well, where we begin is that we have a video that says, can Simon Yates finally win the Giro d'Italia? Where we discussed in the preview that he could actually win the Giro. And here we are. But I mean, Chris Harper winning on the day as well. That's probably going to be overshadowed, unfortunately, by what happened here. But a great win from him and taking the Chima Coppi as well is something that very rarely happens for a breakaway rider to win the stage and take the Chima Coppi. But yeah, with that out of the way, wow. Wow, wow, wow. Simon Yates, Patrick, this guy has like a rich history with the Giro, many stage victories, came close in 2018. It was on this climb where it kind of went the wrong way as well for him. So it's kind of like karma restored in some respect. And then obviously the podium as well in 2021. So he's kind of been everywhere in terms of the Giro. So I like that. It feels good, but obviously Del Toro winning would have been a great narrative as well. Carapaz winning for a second time. Yeah, but I mean, superb. And Wout van Aert just absolutely putting the last nail in the coffin of any hopes of Del Toro winning this. But I think, personally, I don't know about you, I think it was UAE underestimating Visma Lease Bike and Simon Yates that lost them the Giro. First of all, letting Wout van Aert up in the break, not having any UAE guys up there, like you said, and then Del Toro and Carapaz taking chunks out of each other and not respecting Simon Yates to some extent, because we saw him yesterday looking like he was probably on the verge of bonking a bit. But yeah, maybe that was all part of the plan. But yeah. Do you think UAE or was it Simon Yates? I think it was a bit of both, because Wout van Aert and Simon Yates, that link up was brilliant as well. And also another thing, the fact that when Carapaz attacks off the front, instead of getting Del Toro's teammates to chase him down, it's Del Toro chasing him down. And I think that was a bit of a mistake as well. And we saw they were out the back, the teammates, very quickly. So he was left very isolated early on the Col de Nestre. That's my piece.
I think also to add into the mix is that Del Toro was, and I don't know, maybe it wasn't Del Toro, maybe it's UE. You don't really know who's calling the shots here. But they seem really hyper-focused on Carapaz as the main threat, because obviously it makes sense in a way, because he is the closest, or well, was the closest on GC at that point, and has been posing the biggest threat in terms of his aggressive riding. So they were very just focused on marking him, which meant that Yates was less of the priority. Like every time that Yates attacked on the Finestre, it was Carapaz closing him down, not Del Toro. And Del Toro was playing a very passive game. And I think that sort of led to it as well, because they were trying to play a very cool game of, we'll just let Carapaz do it because that's his second place going up the road. And it worked for a little bit until the gap became so big that Carapaz called Del Toro / UE Team Emirates his bluff, where he was saying, hang on, it's not my second place that's going up in smoke here. You're losing the very fabric that's on your back right now. This is a bigger deal for you now than it is for me. And for some reason, Del Toro / UE Team Emirates didn't compute this. And for whatever reason, they didn't get that they were losing the race. And even when we went over the top of the Finestre, Del Toro just stopped pacing. And it's like, that doesn't work, because you're losing the race. And Carapaz has no responsibility to chase that back for you. And then you just kind of throw your toys out the pram and you just don't pace whatsoever, which ultimately guarantees that you're going to be losing the race. It was just completely mind-numbingly stupid tactics today from UE.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think we were kind of disgruntled about the tactics being done by Visma yesterday, which, yeah, was true. But here, it's kind of flipped completely. But I do think we will talk about it's more like tactical brilliance by Visma Lease Bike. But I don't think it was tactical brilliance. I think it was mistakes by UAE Team Emirates, because why on earth do you let Wout van Aert up in the break anyway? Because he is so dangerous. We saw the 10 minutes to 500 watts he did like in the middle of a mountain stage before. Like, you don't let Wout van Aert up the break. Satellite riders isn't a original tactic. It's been done so many times in this year's Giro d'Italia. So I don't understand why UAE Team Emirates underestimated that. And Wout van Aert is such a phenomenal rider, as we've said. And yeah, I think that was so I feel like it was more Wout van Aert and them losing, no, winning. Not, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? That UAE made so many mistakes that could have been kind of squashed quite easily if they've just thought about it a bit more.
Yeah, I agree. And yeah, I don't want to oversimplify this, but like you say, like Wavana got him a break. I mean, he's a satellite rider, and pretty much the whole UAE Team Emirates structure, their whole plan for the day was completely foiled by two guys, which was Simon Yates and Wout van Aert. And like you say, it's not like an original plan. You know, Wout van Aert's going to break for one reason and one reason only, which is that Simon Yates is going to attack on the Fineste. And even if he's not, doesn't attack and he gets dropped, Wout van Aert's there to try and help him back in that valley, because like up to the base of Sestliere is like 2%. Like it just drags. It's such a, you know, if you got somebody to work in front of you, it's fantastic because you can save so much energy. So it was always inevitable that Wout van Aert was going to be doing that, especially since it's got like a 10-minute gap to the break. Of course he's going to be able to do that. So when Simon Yates attacks on the Fineste, you've got to be thinking in the back of your mind, Wout's up the road, he's going to be using Wout over the top, and I'm isolated right now. So I've got to try and get this back now on the climb. And Del Toro didn't even hit the front on the Fineste, apart from when Carapaz overcooked a corner somehow on an uphill, and then Del Toro's forced to the front. It was so weird. I don't get why Del Toro wasn't doing more on the Finesse to close Yates down. It was the writing was on the wall what was going to happen when Yates crested that climb, and Del Toro needed to try to close that down on the climb and not wait until afterwards.
Yeah, true. I don't. Yeah, it's kind of like his whole Giro kind of blew up on the very last moments when you didn't need it. He's been riding so well in the third week. That stage win, he's still going to be the youngest rider in the classification. But yeah, so unfortunate. But I mean, other than that, I mean, other riders, Derek G looking very strong as well. Yeah, Carapaz, what did you make of his kind of his whole final stage as well in terms of the mountain stages? Did he play it well? I mean, EF and Israel, they were the ones who were kind of leading them into that mountain. But could Carapaz actually have won the Giro or not? Or do you think maximum was second place?
I think he could have won it. I think that his problem was that he was being marked by Del Toro and he just wasn't going to be allowed up the road, and